All right, good evening, guys. Ken Tortoise Capital Nightly Strategy Podcast for May 1st, 2024. Happy birthday to my dad. Rest in peace. And we'll start with the 30-minute charts. Hybrid swing. This is Alcoa. This yellow box represents today's price range. And here was the close yesterday. Here was the open, and then sold off, made a collapsing dragon. So we're short with a standard risk. It sells off directly just before the Fed. It bottoms out here with the RL10. It reverses. We take the exit at the skin of the dragon. And on 1 unit of risk, that gives us about 3 units of reward. We like that. AI was we played that in both directions. This was a gap up and sold off in the first half hour. In the second hour, we got short as it crossed the VWAP with a standard risk box. Sold off hard, reversed, skin of the dragon exit for about 0.5. This broke out above the PSAR. This was one I speculated on prior to the Fed, and it simply exploded. And as it rolled over, it just took the maybe 3.5 as it started to fail. Caterpillar, this was a continuing grind south. So here was the trade yesterday. It continued to slide. Today it gapped down and continued to sell off, so standard risk, and it just kind of muddled through. When it came back to the skin of the dragon, we took 0.5 and got to cash before the Fed. Cliff was the same trade, essentially. We got short on the continuation. It reversed and ticked us out here for -1, and then immediately sold off, so I just re-entered. Same price, sold off. Here's the R10 rolling over. Skin of the dragon exit for about 2R, -1, so net 1R on the stop and reverse. Or I guess the continuation, I should say. CBS, this was a 15% gap down. So we know it's in play, and it sells off to the low of the day and then does a 1, 2, 3, crossing the VWAP. So speculate in with a standard risk box to the low of the day. It cruised up, and as it started to collapse, preserved a fraction. Got lucky on that one. DIA tried this was the short from previous days. This was a continuation short. It scratched. It then gave me a 1, 2, 3, 4 entry. Standard risk. And then just prior to the Fed, this was looking really good. I thought about getting out in here, but it reversed so fast that it blew through my indecision and exited here as a gift I am not worthy of. 3, 4. That ended up being 5. If I had exited here, I doubt I could have re-entered on the way back up. Disney tried the long, and it failed for half an hour. Devon Energy was a nice continuation short. Here was yesterday's short. Here was the close. Here's the gap open, sells off short all the way down. There's where the R10 rolls over. Take the skin of the dragon for 1, 2, 3, 4R. Plenty good on that one. No trade on EEM. There was a speculation on ETHE. This had sold off and then held support and then broke through the PSAR, so I gave it a shot. It rewarded all the way up to here and then down and out for about 4. Mexico, I tried the 1, 2, 3. It's like a 1, 2, 3. It failed for minus 0.5. I didn't get the re-entry. Span of control. Brazil, no trade. Home Depot. This was in play right from the opening, because you have a gap down below the collapsing dragon, and I watched it do this. I was kicking myself for not getting the short. Then it did a 1, 2, 3 right at the PSAR, so I put the standard risk on it, and it chugged along nicely, and then exploded up for 1, 2, 3. Intel, no trade. IP, this was a morning hook. 1, 2, 3. Standard risk. It blasted right through the Fed for a little over 2R. And as it started to fail, it just cashed. Didn't want any overnight risk tonight. No trade in IYR. Coca-Cola was a 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's your gap down and sell off. There's 1, 2. This would have been a 1, 2, 3. I waited an extra bar for a little confirmation, but it kept making higher lows. So put the standard risk on, and that was the most orderly trade of the whole day for about 4R. And was pretty happy with that one. Regional banks. Morning 1, 2, 3 for a couple R. McDonald's, no trade. 3M was a continuation to the upside, emerging dragon for about an R. Really, after the first burst, it really just kind of went sideways. So I was looking to trim positions. Merck, no trade. Microsoft, I tried. This is that rebound trade off of that huge slide from yesterday. And then it gapped up, and then like a 1, 2, 3. And then it just came back and scratched. I was not a believer in it, and then I missed this move. MSOS marijuana, that was the big move yesterday, which peaked out up here. Today it gapped down, sold off, short, standard risk, collapsed all the way to the Bollinger Band mean where the R10 reversed. And then I took the skin of the dragon exit for about 2R. Nike was a continuation collapsing dragon for 2R. NVIDIA, collapsing dragon continuation for 3R. Clean energy. This was so bad. Brutal. So this was a 1, 2, 3 entry. It immediately rolled back down, ticked me out, and then it exploded all the way up to here. And I had already moved on to other targets, and just it happened faster than I could act. Palantir, initial continuation short for an R, PSAR flip reversal for 3R on the afternoon gains. Rivian, half an hour loss on a 1-2-3 long. SOUN was a 1-2-3 long that paid off 2R. Tesla was pretty much choppy all day, as was Walmart. I tried Walmart on a 1-2-3 off the bottom, but really scratched. US Steel, tried short for a fraction. I missed the reversal on the long side. XLI, however, I was able to get the short on the continuation for a fraction. So fractional gain, and then a 1-2-3 long, and ran all the way up for about 3. So pretty good across the board today, narrowing the targets for the afternoon trade after the Fed. Some sniper trades of the day. These are on 3-minute charts. Sniper trade of the day. So here's the open, chops around. Here's the collapsing dragon. When the R10 reverses through the PSAR, I'm short. Standard risk. Reasonable PSAR exit for about 3R. I missed the Kata 2 short. And was trading other things in the afternoon. So that one ended up being 1, 2, 3, about 4R. And then this was just lunchtime chop, and this was Fed Madness, which I had a couple other targets with. So that was Alcoa. Devon Energy here. Oops. Sorry, didn't mean to screen that. So short on the collapsing dragon. Reverses. So I take the dragon skin exit for 0.5. I take the PSAR flip on the long side, cut it at 0.5. Continuation short. That pays off going into the lunch hour about 2.5. So those two net 0, so I get about 2.5 on the day. Check the traders today. Hamad gets a little choppy here in the morning. This is on AMD. Lets it consolidate. Now here's the breakdown out of that consolidation range. So that's like a Z3 pinch. Short standard risk to the top of the PSAR. Pays off 1.2. Rolls over. That's a Kata 2 continuation short, basically for a scratch. It's nothing wrong in there. Cliff, nice work at 0.6. So he plays the OR3, breaks out. Good exit, good re-entry on the collapsing dragon. I'd like to have on this peak right here, I'd like to be getting out somewhere in here, but that's a scratch. Collapsing dragon short, a quick loss, which he cuts, but total of 0.6. Devon Energy, a little bit choppy in here. I think this re-entry here on the short side was late. When this rolls over and rejects the VWAP, I'd like to get short in here. That's still pretty good. That's a collapsing dragon. This would be a Kata 2. That's a good exit, good re-entry. It just wasn't much room in there. 2.2, this is nice work here. He was trading other things from the open, so he didn't get the OR3. This is where that could be short. That could end up being a second position even. And that's a good 1, 2, 3 exit for 0.3. I like the re-entry here on the long side. Gets paid, scratch, scratch. Like to have hit that, but he does get the Kata 2 here and nails it. That was a possible second position. In the middle of the Fed announcement, I don't think I'd want you getting 2 positions on. So I like that first position. Here's Kevin. Let's see. Okay, this is the start of the trading here. So he does like a 1, 2, 3 long for a scratch re-entry. He does capture 0.7. There may have been a little more available, but still that's 0.5. That's time you're making money on a Fed day, that's pretty good. He brings home 2.3 on the 3-minute version. Let's see what we got here. Open, short, gets paid 0.4. Quick loss of 1. Quick scratch. This pays for that one. Buys the breakout. This takes more guts than I have. I think that's, I mean, +1 for staying with your stop. I'd probably be getting out in here and then trying to re-enter there, but that, fortune favors the brave. And then even gets that little taste right there to net 2.3 for the day. That's good work on Mexico. George, this is a short here. For 2.7, collapsing dragon, just exactly right, and he gets the exit at the skin of the dragon after the R10 peaks. Thank you. The re-entry. So this is 0.9. That's nice. It gets here, probably down, comes back up. He exits, and then it comes back down. So the re-entry would have been there. Misses this, but still, I like capturing 0.9 and then not chasing it. The re-entry, thank you. For an extra 1.8 after the initial 0.6. Perfectly done. There's if you're going to play the re-entry, there's another one right about there. Gets paid a little bit, tries the long and cuts it pretty quick. I'd probably cut it at the VWAP, but that's probably where you end up getting filled. Still a very good day at work, and finishing up with Tried the short, the stop and reverse would have paid nicely. That's a great continuation from the previous day. When that doesn't work, maybe we could get out in here at the close and the open, but still, that's kind of skin of the dragon. That's pretty good. So nice work across the board from all the traders today. All of them making money on Fed Day. Not easy. Let's see, 150-day look back. We're still postured pretty close to the collapse. Today started high, but then sold off a bit. We still have a nice cushion here to support that move. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Tactical Thursday after the Fed kept rates the same. The market generally responded favorably to that. So let's see if we get a follow through tomorrow. Excuse me. Still bull volatile, some short-term weakness, risk off, still vulnerable in here on the risk Z. That's why we are at risk off. Yeah, in the Dow Tactical, some real winners and losers today. Losers being Cisco, Devon, IBM, and Intel. Some winners in Johnson & Johnson. 3M is continuing to crush it. Holy smokes. Pfizer doing well. And again, more weakness in the energy sector. ExxonMobil and Devon. Some good 5-day downs here in Cisco, Disney, and Intel especially offering 4.5 to 1. And that's one where you could play the 5DD failure as well. So that one works in both directions. In the ETF tactical, very few are testing out better than 2 to 1 on the auto framer. Yeah, weakness in oil and energy, very, very cyclic. Lots of promising springs, a goodly number of summers. Coke and McDonald's, especially. Procter is good. Goldman Sachs is crushing it. Apple may be making a little stealth move here. Let's keep an eye on that. Mostly weakness. A few isolated pockets of strength in U.S. Steel. Procter and Gamble, Johnson, and Pfizer's. What's that sound like? Healthcare. There's your healthcare on the 10-day. Regional banks, an effective trader. Frog champions here for trading value. NVIDIA, marijuana. Tesla, Intel, clean energy, and CAT. Nucor, Texas Instruments and Metals and Mining. Devon getting ready to crack the top 10. That weakness is still lingering. That the river has rolled over, as have the Z-scores. Look at the 90-day Z-score has pulled back almost to the range of normal between plus or minus one. So from the peak, where the RL90's upward movement was extraordinary, it's cooled off ever since this red line that we drew when that rolled over. That was a really good early warning alert. Yeah, there was a little bit of a grinding, but the sell-off is quite different than what that looks like. So this, I'm really fond of this chart for that matter. And you can track that weakness with the Z-score of the 30-period regression line slope. What I'm worried about here is that 10-day high, or the 10-day Z-score is now started to fail. So if we get some more of this, we could easily see this support level here break to the downside. So a little concerned there. All right, that's everything for today. We'll be ready for them tomorrow with a fresh set of Ginsu knives and ready to go. Take good care. For Jay, George, the videos from last night's coaching session are posted on in the OWL group for you for your reference. For cohort 2, take good care, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.